The Chosen Season 6 is about to break every emotion you've ever felt before because this time, it's not just a story, it's the moment everything changes. What's coming next will shake the faith, the hearts, and the souls of everyone who's followed this journey from the very beginning. The trailer for Season 6 gives us the first real look at the most powerful, heartbreaking, and sacred chapter of The Chosen yet. You can already sense it, the tone, the silence, the weight of what's about to unfold. Every frame feels heavier, every glance says more than words could. And you can tell, right from the opening moments, that this season isn't holding anything back. Dallas Jenkins called this the most emotionally demanding season. And after seeing just a few seconds of what's coming, you instantly understand why. Because this isn't just another chapter in Jesus' ministry. This is the final march toward the cross. Everything that's been building up through 5 seasons, the miracles, the teachings, the moments of laughter and pain, all of it now leads here. And the trailer wastes no time reminding us of that. We see shadows moving through the night. Whispers of fear, confusion among the apostles, the faint flicker of torches in Gethsemane. The music alone tells you something is coming, something so intense, so sacred, that even the air feels different. You can almost feel the weight pressing down, the inevitability of what's about to happen. This isn't just storytelling anymore. This is history breathing on screen. Jesus' quiet resolve contrasts with the chaos forming around him. Friends torn between faith and fear, enemies closing in, prophecy unfolding in real time. It's hauntingly beautiful and painfully real. And what makes this trailer so powerful isn't just what it shows, it's what it doesn't. The silence before the storm. The stillness before the betrayal. You can sense Peter's inner turmoil without a single word being spoken. You can see Mary Magdalene's heart breaking just through her eyes. Jonathan Rumi's portrayal of Jesus here, it's almost otherworldly. There's peace in his face, but you can also see the human side, the exhaustion, the heartbreak, the acceptance. It's the calm before the most devastating moment in human history. Season 6 isn't going for spectacle, it's going for truth. Every detail feels stripped down, raw, and painfully honest. The world around Jesus is closing in. And you can feel the tension building with every passing second. Pilate, Caiaphas, Herod, all of them are just pieces in a larger plan that's already been written. But watching it play out, knowing what's about to come, still hits like the first time you ever heard this story. That's what makes The Chosen different. It doesn't just tell the story, it makes you live it. And from what we know so far, Season 6 is built to be an emotional storm. Dallas Jenkins himself said the filming process was grueling, with scenes so emotionally heavy that even the cast struggled to hold it together. Jonathan Rumi admitted this was the hardest work he's ever done, and it shows. You can feel it in the way every word is delivered, in the pauses that hang longer than usual, in the looks exchanged between the apostles that say more than any line could. The first look also hints that this season's storytelling will take a much darker, slower, and more meditative turn. Gone are the large crowds and wide-open miracles. Now, everything feels intimate, quieter, more personal. It's not about what Jesus is doing for people anymore, but what he's about to sacrifice for them. That shift alone changes the entire rhythm of the show. It's like you can feel heaven and earth holding their breath at the same time. The cinematography is breathtaking, not in a flashy way, but in its stillness. The contrast between light and shadow, the earthy tones of Jerusalem, the emptiness of the streets. Everything feels symbolic. Every shot looks like it's been painted with purpose. And the trailer's sound design, the echoes of footsteps, the low whispers, the distant cries, it's all designed to make you feel like you're there, standing in the middle of it all, powerless to stop what's coming. And yet, beneath all that darkness, there's this quiet thread of hope running through everything. That's what The Chosen does best. Even when it shows despair, it never loses sight of redemption. That's why fans are calling this upcoming season not just the most emotional, but also the most spiritually profound one yet. You know what's coming, the trial, the denial, the cross, and still, you can't look away. Because this isn't just the end. It's the beginning of everything. So if the trailer tells us anything, it's that Season 6 won't just challenge your emotions, it'll challenge your faith, your understanding, and your heart. Every moment you see is leading to something greater, something divine, something eternal. And judging by the tone and scale of what's coming, The Chosen isn't just preparing us for the crucifixion, it's preparing us for transformation. Season 6 dives straight into the final days of Jesus' life. And even from the glimpses we've seen, you can tell this is where everything starts to break apart. The disciples look different now, tired, worn down, scared. The light in their eyes isn't gone, but it's flickering. They've walked with Jesus through miracles, storms, and crowds that shouted his name, but now, it feels like the world is turning against him. That shift in tone, that uneasy silence that hangs between every line, it's what makes this season feel so hauntingly real. The trailer shows the apostles struggling to hold on to faith when everything they believed in seems to be slipping through their fingers. And that's what hits the hardest, because you can see yourself in them questioning, confused, wanting to believe, but terrified of what comes next. From what Dallas Jenkins shared, every moment in Season 6 was built with that emotional weight in mind. The team didn't just want to show events, they wanted us to feel them. The betrayal, the trial, the silence before the cross, all of it. It's like watching history breathe again, but this time through human eyes. The lighting in the trailer alone tells a story. The shadows stretch longer, the colors fade into this golden, almost sacred gloom. It's beautiful, but it's heavy. Every face tells you something is about to end. And yet, there's something divine about the way they carry it. You can sense that what's breaking is also being rebuilt into something greater. The trailer's pacing mirrors that feeling. It doesn't rush. It lingers. Every shot holds just long enough for you to sit with it, to understand what's at stake. Jesus walks slower. The apostles speak softer. Even the sounds of footsteps echo differently now, like the ground itself knows what's coming. And there's this one moment in the trailer that stands out when Jesus looks up. Eyes filled with both pain and peace, and you realize this isn't fear. This is surrender. That's the heartbeat of Season 6, surrender, sacrifice, and the unshakable purpose that comes from it. What makes this even more powerful is knowing how much the cast poured into these moments. Jonathan Rumi said filming the trial scenes took everything out of him emotionally. He described it as standing in the middle of the most sacred pain imaginable. Elizabeth Tabish, who plays Mary Magdalene, said she couldn't hold back tears during the crucifixion sequences, even when the cameras weren't rolling. You can feel that kind of energy in the trailer. It's not acting anymore. It's something deeper, something that connects you to the story in a way that feels personal. And the production scale matches that emotion. Season 6 was filmed across 3 major locations: North Texas, Utah, and Matera, Italy, and every place seems to carry its own atmosphere. You can see the texture of the world, the dirt, the wind, the distant hills. It all feels alive. Dallas Jenkins said he wanted this season to feel like a sacred event, and from the trailer, that's exactly what it looks like. It's not filmed like a TV show anymore. It's cinematic, immersive, and overwhelmingly emotional. You don't just watch it. You live through it. Even the dialogue that we glimpse in the trailer feels sharper, more deliberate. When Jesus says, "The time has come," there's no music behind it, just silence. That silence is what makes it so powerful. The absence of sound becomes its own language, one that speaks louder than anything else. And that's where The Chosen truly shines. It knows when to speak and when to let silence do the talking. You can sense that this season is leading us into the heart of everything the story has been building toward. It's not just about the cross. It's about every step that leads there. The fans have been waiting for this for years. And it's clear that the creators know exactly how much this means to people. That's why every detail in the trailer feels intentional. The dust in the air, the way the camera moves slowly around Jesus as he's taken away, the expressions on the apostles' faces, it all feels painfully real. It's like you're right there in that moment, watching something wholly unfold, unable to change it, but unable to look away either. And maybe that's the point. Season 6 isn't meant to make you comfortable, it's meant to make you feel everything. The confusion, the fear, the love, the loss, and the faith that survives through it all. This is where The Chosen steps beyond storytelling and becomes something else entirely. A reminder of why this story still matters 2,000 years later. As Season 6 unfolds, the story steps into territory that feels heavier, quieter, and more intimate than anything we've seen before. The trailer alone hints that this isn't about spectacle, it's about the human side of divine purpose. You can feel that weight in every second. Jesus isn't performing miracles now. He's walking toward his destiny. The crowds that once followed him are fading away, and the ones who remain are struggling to understand why everything feels like it's falling apart. That emotional shift, the distance between faith and fear, is what gives this season its pulse. Because even though we all know how this story ends, the way The Chosen tells it makes it feel like we're living it for the first time. There's something incredibly powerful about the way the trailer captures the tension between light and darkness. The atmosphere feels suffocating at times, like the air itself is trembling. You can see the apostles breaking under the pressure, Peter's guilt written all over his face, John trying to stay strong, Mary silently watching everything she loves fall apart. No one is ready for what's coming, yet everyone knows they can't escape it. That's the beauty and the pain of the season. It's raw, it's human, and it's honest. It doesn't shy away from the heartbreak, it leans into it. Because that's what makes the redemption that follows so meaningful. And what really stands out about this trailer is how real everything feels. There's no gloss, no polished perfection. You can see the sweat, the dust, the tears. The emotions don't look staged, they look lived in. The way Jonathan Rumi portrays Jesus here, It's like watching a man who knows exactly what's waiting for him, but still chooses to face it with grace. There's a stillness in his presence that cuts deeper than any line could. When he looks at his disciples, you can see love and sorrow mixing together. He's comforting them while preparing himself for what's about to come. That balance, the divine strength wrapped in human pain, is what makes this version of the story so unforgettable. Behind the scenes, this season pushed everyone to their emotional limits. Dallas Jenkins said that filming the crucifixion sequence was unlike anything they'd ever done before. He described moments where the entire crew went silent, not because they were told to, but because they felt the weight of what they were recreating. That tells you everything about how real this experience was for them. They weren't just acting, they were stepping into sacred history. That's why this trailer doesn't feel like a preview. It feels like a window into something eternal. Even the smallest details stand out. The crown of thorns, the way the sun hits the stone walls, the trembling hands of the soldiers, it's all captured with such care that it pulls you in completely. And the music, if you listen closely, isn't meant to sound grand or victorious. It's haunting, minimal, almost like a whisper. It's the kind of soundtrack that stays with you long after you stop watching, because it reminds you of the silence that came before the cross. That creative decision says a lot about what this season is trying to do. It's not trying to impress you. It's trying to move you. And beyond the emotional weight, there's also the massive scale of what's coming. The Chosen is no longer just a show, it's a global phenomenon. Season 6 took nearly 3 months to film across continents, and with a budget of over $30 million. It's easily the most ambitious season yet. But even with that scale, it still feels deeply personal. That's what makes it so special. It's massive in scope but intimate in feeling. You're not just watching history, you're experiencing the emotions behind it. Dallas Jenkins has said multiple times that this season will end with a theatrical release. For a reason. It's because these moments deserve to be felt in full, not just on a small screen, but in a room full of people all feeling the same thing. The crucifixion episode, scheduled to release in theaters in 2027, isn't just another finale, it's being described as a full-length feature experience. That's how confident they are in what they've created. And honestly, after seeing the trailer, it's not hard to believe why. This isn't a show anymore, it's an experience that reaches straight into the soul. And even though it's going to be heartbreaking, there's something about The Chosen that keeps hope alive through every frame. You can see it in the way the apostles still follow, even when they don't understand. You can feel it in Mary's quiet faith, even when her heart is breaking. And you can hear it in Jesus' voice, soft, steady, unshaken. That's the message hidden beneath all the pain, love that endures through the darkest hour. This season is going to make us cry. No doubt about it, but it'll also remind us why we believe in the first place. As The Chosen Season 6 moves deeper into its story, the weight of destiny becomes almost unbearable. The trailer hints at moments so intense that even a few seconds feel like an eternity. The stillness before Jesus' arrest, the echo of soldiers approaching, the flicker of a torch in the darkness, it all feels like time slowing down. You can sense the breaking point coming, and there's no way to stop it. What's so gripping about this part of the story is how personal it feels. We're not just watching a biblical event, we're witnessing friendships shatter, promises break, and faith being tested to its limit. The apostles, who once walked beside miracles, are now running from fear. That shift from faith to doubt is what gives this season its raw power. Because that's exactly what makes it human. Peter's journey especially stands out in the trailer. You can see the storm in his eyes, the guilt, the panic, the realization that his strength isn't enough this time. There's a brief glimpse of him outside in the cold, watching Jesus being taken away. And even without hearing his words, you can feel the weight of betrayal hanging in the air. That single moment of silence says more than any dialogue could. It's a reflection of what we all go through, the battle between faith and fear. When the world stops making sense. And when you think about how far Peter has come, that breakdown becomes even more heartbreaking. Because deep down, you know he still loves Jesus, he's just scared, and that fear makes him human. Mary Magdalene's scenes, too, carry an emotional intensity that lingers long after the trailer ends. The way she looks at Jesus during those final moments, there's a mix of love, helplessness, and acceptance in her eyes. Elizabeth Tabish brings that pain to life so beautifully that you almost forget she's acting. You can tell she's carrying the emotional weight of every woman who's ever lost someone they love. It's not just sorrow, it's spiritual heartbreak. And somehow, even in that pain, there's this unspoken strength in her. That's what The Chosen captures so well, the resilience in grief. The faith that survives even when everything else falls apart. And then there's Judas. His presence in the trailer is subtle but unforgettable. Every time he appears, you can feel the tension rise. The guilt on his face, the hesitation in his movements, it's almost unbearable to watch. Because you know what's coming. But instead of painting him as a villain, The Chosen seems to be showing his humanity. You can see the conflict inside him, the battle between regret and pride, love and betrayal. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Because this story isn't about heroes and villains, it's about people. Broken, scared, imperfect people who are all part of something bigger than themselves. What makes this season even more fascinating is how it balances the emotional with the spiritual. You can tell Dallas Jenkins wanted to capture not just the historical accuracy, but the soul of the moment. The script, the lighting, the music, all of it feels designed to remind us that this isn't just tragedy, it's transformation. The crucifixion isn't just an ending, it's the start of everything. And that's what gives season 6 its haunting beauty. It doesn't just show pain, it shows purpose. It reminds us that even in the darkest hour, there's light waiting to rise again. The production team spared no detail to make this story feel alive. Matera, Italy, the filming location for Jerusalem, looks breathtaking in every shot. The narrow alleys, the stone walls, the ancient atmosphere, it all feels like stepping into the past. The dust in the air, the trembling firelight, the tension in every shadow, it's cinematic perfection. You can tell that every frame was built to honor the weight of the story. Nothing feels exaggerated. Everything feels sacred. That's why fans who followed The Chosen from the start are calling this season a masterpiece in the making. And when you think about what's still to come, the trial before Pilate, the cries of the crowd, the painful stillness before the cross, it's almost impossible not to feel chills. The trailer doesn't show too much, but that's what makes it powerful. It leaves you with just enough to imagine, just enough to feel the dread and the awe at the same time. It's a strange mix of emotions, grief, reverence, hope, all colliding in one story that's been told 1,000 times but never like this. The Chosen finds the humanity and holiness, and that's what keeps us watching. Even in its silence, the trailer speaks volumes. The look in Jesus' eyes, the trembling of his hands as he's bound, the faint whisper of wind through the garden, it's all filled with emotion that words can't express. That's the essence of the season. It's not loud, it's not dramatic for the sake of drama, it's real. It's the kind of storytelling that makes you pause, breathe, and realize just how deep this story goes. Season 6 isn't just showing what happened, it's showing what it felt like. And that's something few shows ever managed to capture. Season 6 feels like the moment The Chosen has been building toward since the very beginning. The final collision between humanity and divinity, between sacrifice and salvation. Every glimpse we've seen, every quiet moment in the trailer leads to this. The pain, the betrayal, the silence before the crucifixion, it's all there, heavy and sacred. What makes this so powerful is how the show captures the stillness between those moments. You can almost feel the pause in heaven, like creation itself is holding its breath. The tone is somber, but it's not hopeless. Because even though everything looks like it's ending, you can feel that something greater is just beginning. That's the energy that runs through the entire trailer, the tension between death and rebirth, between loss and redemption. Dallas Jenkins described this season as a sacred storm. And that phrase couldn't fit better. Everything about season 6 feels like a storm building quietly before it breaks open. The trailer shows glimpses of Jesus being led through the streets, the weight of the cross pressing down on his shoulders, and the faces of those who can't bear to look, yet can't look away either. It's raw and it's painful, but it's also peaceful in a strange way. Because you can see it in his eyes, he's not defeated. He's fulfilling something that was set in motion long before the world even began. That's what makes it so emotional. It's not just tragedy, it's destiny unfolding in real time. And while the trailer doesn't show the full crucifixion, it gives you enough to understand the gravity of what's coming. The sound fades, the colors dim, and all you hear is the wind, slow, hollow, echoing through the emptiness. It's the kind of silence that says everything. The pain isn't over-dramatized. It's felt through the faces of those watching, Mary, John, Peter, each one breaking in their own way. The Chosen doesn't sensationalize suffering. It humanizes it. It lets us feel the cost of love in its purest form. That's what makes this story timeless, but even in that heaviness, there's hope quietly blooming underneath it all. The trailer gives small, almost invisible glimpses of it, the light rising behind the hills, the faint warmth cutting through the shadows. It's like the show is whispering that even after the darkest night, the dawn is coming. That's the thread holding this entire season together, hope born out of heartbreak. Because this story was never meant to end in sorrow. It was always leading to resurrection, to renewal, to something eternal. And that's exactly what makes season 6 so breathtaking. It's not just telling the story of the cross. It's preparing us for the power of what comes after. The beauty of The Chosen has always been how real it feels. It doesn't just recreate scripture, it invites you into it. And this trailer proves that more than ever. Every tear, every glance, every heartbeat feels alive. You can tell how deeply everyone involved in this project believes in what they're creating. Jonathan Rumi's performance, especially in this season, feels like the culmination of everything he's given over the years. His calmness, his exhaustion, his compassion. It's all layered so naturally that you forget you're watching a show. It feels sacred, like witnessing something you're not supposed to interrupt. That's how powerful this season looks, and the release plan just adds to the anticipation. With the first episodes coming to Prime Video in 2026, and the Crucifixion episode premiering in theaters in 2027. This isn't just a television event anymore, it's a global moment of faith brought to life. Dallas Jenkins said he wanted people to experience this together, not just through screens, but side by side, sharing the same silence, the same tears, the same awe. The idea that the Resurrection episode will also release in theaters during Easter 2028 gives this story the cinematic closure it deserves. It's a bold move, but one that perfectly matches the spirit of what The Chosen has become. Something far bigger than entertainment. When the trailer ends, you're left with this hollow ache in your chest. It's that feeling you get when something inside you knows it's about to change forever. The music fades, the screen goes dark, and you're just sitting there, quiet, moved, thinking. Because this isn't just another season. It's the story that defines everything that came before it. The faith, the fear, the love, the loss, all of it finally comes together here. And it's not just about watching Jesus die. It's about understanding why he did. That's the message The Chosen is driving home, that love doesn't run from pain. It redeems it. So, as Season 6 approaches, one thing is clear, we're not just witnessing history. We're stepping into it. The Chosen has always been more than a show. It's an experience that meets you where you are, challenges your heart, and reminds you of the meaning behind it all. This new season will test faith, stir emotions, and change perspectives. And when it's over, we'll all be left with one truth: the cross wasn't the end. It was the beginning of everything.